Now we are moving on to the final session for today, and I would like to call upon Dr. Ganeshan Shanmugavelu, Senior Lecturer in the Department of Educational Studies, Institute of Teacher Education, Hippocampus, Perak, Malaysia, to introduce the speaker for today, Professor Dr. Balakrishnan Parasuraman. Over to you, sir, and he will be the
Okay,
moderator for the session.
thank you very much, Risha, for giving me this opportunity to conduct this final session of this 4-day international virtual workshop on research methodology and writing skills. So I feel very honored to introduce Professor Dr. Balakrishnan, Professor Dr. Balakrishnan Parasuraman, Professor of Human Resource Management and Labor Relations at Faculty of Entrepreneur and Business, University Malaysia, Kelantan, Malaysia, East Coast in Malaysia. And his academic background, let me read through his contributions because we feel that for sorry, for all the speakers or resource person, we need to know their background so that the participants are motivated to hear their topic and so on. So Professor Dr. Balakrishnan got his bachelor's degree, Bachelor of Social Science, honors in economics from University of Science Malaysia in Penang. Later, he continued his studies for master's degree, Masters of Science in Industrial Relation and Human Resources from University of Stirling, United Kingdom. His PhD studies in Human Resource Management from University of Wollongong, Australia. And Professor Dr. Balakrishnan also has a diploma in education in one of the teachers training institute in Malaysia. He also has advanced diploma in coaching and mentoring from Ministry of Human Resources Malaysia. So throughout his career, he already has experience of more than 25 years of experience as a teacher for 3 years, secondary school teacher, and a lecturer, senior lecturer, associate professor, and professor. And he's also the founding head of International Office in University Malaysia Kelantan, Director of Industrial Linkages and Collaborations Office, ILCO UMK, and also founding advisor on Bursa Saham, and also Deputy Director Student Affairs at University Malaysia Sabah. He's also most important figure in the minimum wage policy in Malaysia. He's in the technical committee of National Consultative Wage Council since 2011 until now. And he's also a co-chair, Workers' Participation Study Group, International Employment Relations Association, ILERA, International Labour Organization, ILO, Geneva. And he has published more than 20 books, I think more than 25 books, as I know, and also more than 200 articles in refereed journal, high-impact journals, Scopus, ISI, and so on, to name it, a lot. And then he is also an invited visiting research fellow at University of Groningen, Holland, visiting professor at University of Indonesia, visiting research fellow, University of Wollongong, Australia. And he always appear in the national television program in Malaysia, on also radio talk show on business HR. And Professor Dr. Bala is the president of Malaysian Industrial Relations and Human Resource Association, MIRHA, who is the co-organizer of this international workshop. And also he's an adjunct professor at Faculty of Business and Technology, University of Cyberjaya, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. He's a member of Malaysian Institute of Human Resource Malaysia, and also member of ILERA, based in Geneva, senior fellow, Institute of Labour Market. It's very long. Let us listen to it because it's a motivation for us of this person, for our speaker, next speaker. And he's also the member of National Wage Council Technical Committee and Research Fellow, National Human Resource Ministry of Human Resource Malaysia. And for your information, Prof. Bala is my senior during our undergraduate studies at University of Science Malaysia in Penang. He's my 1 year senior. Okay, Prof. Your research, the research topic for today by Dr. Bala will be how research methodology and data analysis make your journey easier, a systematic approach. I hope the audience will stay until to the end, because after his session, we'll have a short closing ceremony of this 4-day workshop. I hand over to you, Prof. Good luck.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ganesan, who is be the moderator and also our MC. Yeah. Okay, and I'd like to thanks to organizer to invite me to give a talk on the research methodology. Yeah. Then I also like to thanks to all the participants to stay, be patient, because this is the end of our 4 days international virtual workshop on the research methodology. Yeah. So my job is actually to summarize the whole system, the whole session that we've gone through these 4 days. I know that most of you already have basic knowledge on that. So today, with I think Dr. Ganesan talk about my CV. Actually, I don't create my CV. It's actually coming through my expertise and also my research for last 25 years. So the topic that I'm going to do actually basically something different. That I think last few days you listen to the literature review. Was some scholar from USA and some scholar from India and some scholar from Indonesia. All my good friends, they're presenting, and some of them talk about quantitative method, plagiarism, and just before me, Dr. Masalam talked about how to publish in IA Science Corpus. That is the latest trend in publication. This not happening during my time. Okay, I want to make a note on all of you. It doesn't happen during my time. During my time, actually, we are more focused on the index journal, and also any journal that reputable journal on the field. So those days, me and Dr. Ganesan and so on, we all publish in the and also we also publish a lot of books, because books are so. But recently, the new trend, I think, because all the university want to be top 10 university KPI and so on, they're focusing on more on that. So actually, it's no make any difference. Right. So I move on to the topic I'm going to discuss. Actually, how research methodology and data analysis make your journey easier. Then I'm going to talk about qualitative method. Although I'm also know about quantitative method, but I'm expert on qualitative method. Okay, before I go on that, the beauty of qualitative method or whatever the methodology itself, you can create a lot of different kind of benefit to the society, in not only Malaysia, not only the country, but globally and so on. I think this is what we trying to partnership with Indian scholars and also Indonesian, and also some of them maybe later we go for Africa and maybe Latin America. And so my 25 years, I work with different kind of scholars around the world. Then I just got a message today. My supervisor, Dr. Ganesan, very sad, Ganesan. Can you hear me? Ganesan?
Yeah, Prof. Yes.
Yeah, very sad to hear about my supervisor. He messaged me this morning. Very sad story. That's why I'm not in the good mood today. Very sad story. He's my guru, my father, and everything He's the one actually make me today. He's a top 10 professor in the world, and he told me that he want to pass over the study group that he was chair for globally, internationally by ILO, and he's a well-known scholar from all the continent. He want to pass over to me the chair the group study. Then I turned down. I said I'm not qualified to that. Maybe Prof can choose someone from Latin America or USA or Europe. And sadly, my Prof already cancelled. So very sad. He's a very great scholar. He's not emeritus. So that's why I really not good feeling, because I really want to see him before anything happened to him. I want to go to Australia after the COVID-19. Like what happened to my guru, my father, my dad, Prof. Luis Apreso, the world president of industrial relations. Also same thing before he got a cancer also. And I went to Argentina and I said thank you to Prof. And my paper was published in Latin America. And the last moment I said, Prof, I won't see you again. And exactly after 3 months, he passed away. So I think I will go after this COVID, the border open, immediately I'll take the flight. I fly over to Macquarie and I go and spend time with him. And I said, thank you, Prof. Without you, I'm not here. So even he passed me the biggest challenge from Dr. Ganesan, I cannot take up because I'm not qualified. there are more people qualified. I told him, Prof, I can be an assistant, but that's why today, the whole day, my mood is not there. I'm really sad over this matter. Cancer. So a lot of good academician, they will die with all kinds of sickness because they work so hard. I'm not sure whether tomorrow I can live or not. I'm not sure, but I leave it a lot of legacy. If you guys go to my YouTube, I'll be there forever. Like singer, the best singer, SP Bala passed away, but we're always there. So all my publication, my everything in the Google and all the YouTube, even though I'm not around this world, you all guys can go there and so this is how I work. I'm not working just for Malaysia, but I'm working from citizen of the world. So that's why Prof. Luis, before you passed away, you told me you are citizen of the world. You throughout the world, and I really thank God that I have to communicate. Recently, I have a paper in Latin America. I met Prof. Marta, and Prof. Marta replacing Prof. Luis, and he was invited, especially in Mexico. And together with me, I brought my PhD student, Miss Lalini, together with me, and she presented. So I also introducing a lot of scholars. And with this picture, you can see Dr. Ariana. I think Dr. Dorin, he's a good friend of Dr. Dorin also. And we are good friends. We're not only good friends, we win a lot of medals, not only in Malaysia. We went to Geneva and we come up with a lot of product. The latest book is actually, so like the word said, perish or publish. So I always make sure publication is number one in my life. And thank you, Dr. Ganesan. With you, I publish a lot of paper. I'm grateful to you that you also part of our team. Although you are working in the IPG, but you are the top 10 scholar in the IPG. I'm very grateful to you. And this book actually is based on the PhD. And I was external examiner. And Honorable Dato, like Batma Sri in India, Dato Sri in Malaysia, he invited me. He's one of the scholar. He did a PhD at the age of almost 65. He graduated. There's no age limit. And he invited me especially to co-author this book. And this book is actually very important book, prominent book to all the needs. So I keep on publishing every day. Every year, I make sure the publication there. Like what Dr. Mazalan did when I was young like him, I start publishing at the age 30. I never stop publishing until now. I still working. I'm helping a lot of people, especially my students, my colleagues. So we grow together. That's why when Dr. Ganesan was in the university, we are just good friends. I went back to USM. I feel so memorable. And I told Dr. Ganesan, we are at this university today. We are good friends. So last 25 years, I have completed a lot of research grant. So how you see a lot of my connection in the world, in Malaysia, and so on. Because I did a lot of, I struggled in my life in the beginning. Like my area is not very popular in Malaysia. Industrial relations is a very new area. I started in UMS and I grow some of the program to the national level, a global level. Then I moved to UMK and now I'm bringing a lot of top PhD master students together with me. And then we start doing. So a lot of things, I got a lot of grant from all over the world, especially from European, ILO. I got a few grant for the International Labour Organization. If you know, like, WHO, World Health Organization, like you see COVID-19 is equivalent to ILO. ILO is looking at the labor. So I gained about 4 research grants for ILO and Japan Foundation and Malaysian. And recently, Dr. Ganesan, today, day after tomorrow, I think I got one friend from Ugenes, from National Union Plantation Workers. We are going to apply 3 more grants. They put me as a leader for trade union research. We are going to do Sabah and Pahang. And the research is going to be very important for the country, looking at the trade union, so on. So, and after I did applied and basic research, and then the research, most research of my study, not only stand on the desk, on the online or with online citation, but you also go to the policy. So I'm sitting on the minimum wage for more than almost 10 years, and every year the government will renew our needs. So I'm working on the different kind of project. Now I'm working very hard for the graduate employability and the salary scale for graduate. So that's my last year. I got another 5 years to go to retire. I hope when I retire, I do something for the country, not only in Malaysia, but throughout the world. Right? So basically, if you look at the things like happening in the world, you need to find what is going on now. Is COVID-19, a lot of research to be done. So people think, what is a qualitative research? I really enjoy. I really amazed. I really found qualitative give a lot of meaning to the people. Like what I said just now. I'm not saying quantitative also giving a lot of research to the policy, but qualitative is the other way around. We always say under the carpet. If you look at the carpet, very clean, that is a quantitative. You would take out the carpet, you see very dirty, that's a qualitative. A lot of work undercovered, we don't know, only know through the qualitative. So that's why I was amazed to do this, and I'm really enjoying do that. And some of my PhD students are doing on this methodology. Yeah. So I'm not going through all these because I think many people done already. So a lot of people asking, so what? So what with my research? Example, PhD, master degree, or any type of research. So what I'm doing research? Just now you're looking at Dr. Mazlan and so on, and everybody talking, so what? Then the answer is value or meaning for me, or meaning for the country. That's very important. Don't do research for yourself. Many PhD students think that after finish research, I become scholar in university, that's all, finished. They never go to the next level, which is, I think, very important. So we need to understand research is like this. Read, write, rinse, repeat, read, write, rinse, repeat. That is a life. It's a cycle. You cannot simply today, you read, tomorrow you stop. Cannot. You want to be scholar. You want to be, in the field. Why Prof. Ray Mackay appoint me to be leading in the world, Don't play around, Leading in the world. That means Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge, Cornell, Stanford, Tokyo, Korea, all these top university, Malaya, top university. I'm going to sitting on that. I rejected. Humbly, I rejected. I'm not going for that. Okay? If someone will take it, I'm not rejected. No, the reason why I respect some of the scholars, then they are someone even better than me, or I want to learn. I want to learn from them. They are maybe so I always make myself humble. But of course, I work connected with them. Just like Malta invited me. I'm the only person come out in Latin America, like World Cup. You see, Mexico, Brazil, and our paper. I would like to thanks to Miss Nalini here in this room. Are you here, Nalini? Nalini, are you here? I don't know if she's around or not. Dr. Ganesha, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Because
Can hear, bro. Can hear.
Okay. Thanks. And Nalini, you're here. Okay, me and Nalini, she's my PhD student, and she worked as a senior executive in HR. And last year, I presented in Latin America, the whole Latin America. If you look at the World Cup, the Latin America, and presented a paper. And one of the key person in Brazil, Professor Cristina, take our paper, and we're already going to. I wrote with Nalini, and we're going to publish this year, and we're going to launch the book. So Malaysian flag will be there in Latin America. So that's what I'm proud. So UMK will be there everywhere. So I don't care where I'm working. I don't care. I always want to make Malaysia, or even Asia, to top 10. Now I'm looking at Asia. So we as a scholar, we make sure that bring the good name, reputation to our country, but not only our country, to other country also. That's why you see in this group, I bring Dr. Frank. I would like to thanks to Dr. Ganesan to introduce me to Dr. Frank. Dr. Frank is a very young scholar. Dr. Regine, all of you very young scholar, but you're all doing very well. So I feel so happy to work with the young scholars so that they will be like me. I was like struggling when I was young. I don't have any people to refer. Like Dr. Mazlan, you go mechanical engineer, many professors in Malaysia, no, zero. And I work by myself. I use a lot of my money and travel all over the world, and I make network. And finally, I feel that something I achieved in my life. But of course, all this comes from research. Without research, nothing will happen. And all this comes from research method that we are going to do. So without research, there's no life in the university. You cannot join university or any institution, but without doing research, nothing. You are an invaluable person to that. So promotion will come. I never apply any job in my life. I never apply senior lecturer. I never apply AP. I never apply professor. All come through my merit because of publication, research, and so on. And people know. Even 2 days ago, the online radio, TH Raga, I think most of people in Malaysia know TH Raga, Astro TV online, worldwide, you can listen. They call me to comment on the labor issue. So people already know my background. People don't refer me in other field. People say Probala, human resource, and industrial relation. That's why you need to create. I don't want people like when say Dr. Ganesan, they know. Dr. Ganesan is historical. Dr. Mazlan, we know you're mechanical engineer. Dr. Jaya, it's no, you're biotech. So that's how you have to create. And how you create? Through publication. That's what Dr. Mazlan said. Go on your peer group. Let peer group will know about you. Otherwise, you publish any Tom and Jerry journal, even though it's ISI, even though it's Scopus, but there is no refer as a scholar. Then you get a problem later on. Then you start blaming university. You said, why I don't know, I don't promote it. Don't blame university, blame ourselves. So when you are young, publish. That's why I told all my PhD master student. You have to do. Don't depend on your supervisor. But what happened today? Everything depends on supervisor. Cannot. If like that, why you want to study? You better look for other things. Don't study PhD master. You're depending on supervisor. That's why we call supervisor. You have to do yourself. Like Dr. Jaya said, when you was young undergraduate, you already got some grant. I do the same thing also. When I did my PhD, I published 3 books. You say I have time. No, 3 books. Dewan Bahasa Pustaka, the national book publisher. I published 1 book. I published it in the Peasant Education. It was launched in Australia with my supervisor. Why? Why cannot? You have to plan. I didn't study, work smart. And I do a lot of grant. I got a grant. I got a Korea grant. I got a Taiwan during my doctorate. And that's why University of Wollongong offered me a job. Probala, you can stop here. You don't need to go back to Malaysia. We offer you a better position. You stay back and then you start. I said, no, I have to go to my country. And today I'm a professor. Doesn't matter. What does it mean that? It's a global world. We can cross over the goal. And COVID-19 bring a lot of good thing for us. Do you understand? COVID is one of the best. Although disease, you open up our mind. You bring people to humble themselves. You teach the people, how to work with someone. Why these great professors? Why so pride of them? No. You look at me. I can work to any level. I don't care. As long as they can do. Those people publishing, those people very good, my students, I treat them. You ask my students, I treat them. Those that are very, very weak, I can't help them. I said, you have to look for other place. If you cannot work under top professors, they have to look for other thing. Why you want to? So I don't care where I'm working. University of Malaya or USM, USM, I don't care. University. Wherever you work, that is how you perform. So don't go for like, I'm in University of Malaya, then I'll talk. No, not necessary. Not necessary. It's actually how you bring your research. So I told Dr. Jaya, Dr. Madra, although you're in Delhi campus, don't worry. We can make the difference. We can go abroad. We can go throughout the world. We can promote all over our research and people will recognize us. So that's how I got a friend, Dr. Doreen, Dr. Ariana, and from Martha from Latin America. I got a friend from Dr. Michael from Remake. All these people working because we are doing our research. So choice, how to come out your research problem. Your problem is not clear, then you cannot have the right method to solve the problem. So your problem is what? What is your problem? Like in my area, what is the problem? My problem is COVID-19. So what COVID-19 done? COVID-19 changed the landscape of HR and IR, different kind of the spectrum of the industry, manufacturing, services, hotel, airline. You look at the airline industry, collapse. Now they recover. It's very hard for them. Hotel, gone. So how the HR and IR actually change? So I do research on that. I ask my students to do research. So research problem very important. And how the research problem, framework is very important. Is it go like positivist, like quantitative, hypothetical, and then you go and solve the problem. So all this very important, So methodological is very, very crucial in when you do. But people misunderstand. Methodological is actually referred to philosophical science. Positive and non-positive. Positivist always come to quantitative. Non-positive always come to qualitative. And then method is a different. Method is a technique. What kind of technique you're going to use? Like quantitative, you're using survey. Okay, experimental. Qualitative, you use a case study. You use participant observation, ethnographic, and so on. I got one of my students. He's a minister in Sarawak. He's using ethnographic case study. He write about himself because he created a model. Model already there. Theory is there. Now we go back to test the theory. Not test the theory. To understand theory, we will bring back the theory to support his model. He created the model. He's a super. I already found in the world, nobody created. He's the only one going to do that. That's why I told. I said Dato also he's like minister and also Assembly of Men. He was so busy, but he able to completed his study. So I told Dato, you're going to be his name Dato Talib. You're going to be superb in the world. When your book out, your paper published, you really to help. So I hope Dr. Mazlan can help on that also. Publish in the top journal, right? We should help Dato to bring this kind of things. Okay. So I go straight.
Okay, Prof.
Yeah. We publish a top journal in Europe because you can make different in the world because you come out with corruption. You see FIFA, all the corrupted world companies, and this paper going to give a solution for the corruption in the world. You use integrity and corporate governance, you manage together, and the result is very good. You reduce the corruption rate. So this paper can be go on there. So I really need help. We can work together. So what is the meaning here? Very, very easy. You are still struggling. Oh no, I'm very proud to do qualitative on it. You have to tell your supervisor. You need to tell his wife, okay, I'm going to do this, going to that. But you must be expert on the field. So through this, you can see most science research based on quantitative. Most of the social science, we refer both qualitative and quantitative. Some people using qualitative, some people both method, multi-method, some people using just quantitative. So very clear here. You can see from here, you know already, I'm not going to go through this. So there will be fundamental difference between qualitative and also quantitative. So don't be so worry about method, worry about research problem. That's most important. Look at here. Normally, quantitative test hypothesis. The moment you have theoretical framework, chapter 1 to 3, you cannot change. You cannot change. For people doing quantitative, chapter 1 to 3, you cannot change. You need to keep with them and you do testing. Testing is a key word for quantitative. But qualitative, no testing. Qualitative is actually backward and forward. Like I can start from backward. I don't need to go to study of literature review. No need. I can go to field work. I can collect data, come back and do. You see, very, very different, you know, right? Very different perspective. Can be done. That's why our title is always changed. But quantitative cannot. You need to set. That's why you need to test. When you test, you need a hypothetical question to test. And after you're testing, then you have to know that theory can reject it or accept it. That's all. But qualitative, no. We explore. Explore and explore, we found, and we're giving meaning. All right? Approach, measure, and test. But here, observe, interpret. I need a lot of observation. I did a lot of my PhD students. I know who can finish. I got 18 students. Only 5 can finish. The rest cannot. The rest cannot do. It's the same. They're also working. One I got minister, finished already. I got one special officer, Mr. Firdaus, already finished. Very busy guy, special officer to VC, and also the chairman, finished on time. I got another student who was using the quantitative method. He's a IPG lecturer, 2.5 years finished. And they published all ISI journal. Why? The rest cannot finish because the rest don't know how to cope with the study. So actually, you the one actually decide the timeline for your finish. All right. So data collection, very easy, unstructured and free form. Here you must categorize. You must know what to do in your questionnaire. Must be very, very, very concerned about independent, dependent variables and how you use the mediation, why you use moderating variables. For PhD level, you need to do more. So you need to, why you want to use moderating? Why you use mediating? Why independent, dependent? But in quality, no, we're not going to use all these. There's no independent, no independent. But there's a cost relationship, but no independent. We are using a lot of factors to verify. Okay, like if we are going to do research on trade union in plantation sector, we're going to observe. We're going to do a survey. I don't know, interview. We're going to talk to them, focus group. Then we come out whether NEPW, National Union Plantation, relevant or not relevant in sector. Then we propose this to the government. See, this is very important for us. Sample. We need to have sample. We certify sample, or we must very concerned about sample on quantitative. But in sample on qualitative, no, we are just don't go too much on numbers. We are go on the what is the meaning to the research that we are going to do. So it's very simple things that you understand with this table. So that's why I simplified this one. And also this one I'm not going to repeat, but this is how the process. Of course, everybody talking literature review. Yes, in qualitative also we need to literature review, but tentative. The model theory is a tentative, but the model can be changed after you go to field, come back, you can change and you can tell. That's what we call modifying the models, or developing a models or a theory and so on. I never use theory, I always use model because my supervisor teach me model like car. Like you got BMW 5 Series, 3 Series, but the model always change. Every year the model change. Mercedes-Benz also like that, but you can change. But theory sometimes a bit difficult, but theory must be exist on the because theory is very important as a guide to you to do research. Okay, so I hope that a lot of students here, lecturers, must understand the philosophical of science. Okay, Guba Lincoln, the guru of the paradigm shift on research. You must understand what is a positivist. Most science people like Dr. Jaya, Dr. Mazlan, all these people come from the positivist movement. They always do the testing and testing and testing. You ask them, they go to lab. Without lab, they cannot do anything. But social science actually different. We are doing qualitative. Our observation is very important. I like to observe people. I can see the people, how people behave. I know this graduate can get a job, and I can clearly see that. Very easy. If this graduate cannot get a job, definitely cannot get a job. This guy cannot finish PhD, definitely cannot finish. Example, today, I got a few students that I told them, you can't finish. Almost 2 years, nothing, zero. There's no one chapter. 2. I got a few students join with me. Immediately, they come out chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. Yesterday, I was talking to one of the students from Iran, Iranian girl. She's only 3. But when I say something to her, she will come out something. She do, and she show me, and she want engage with me, so that easy for me to supervise the kind of student. And I challenge them, go and do this, go and do that. So they will do that. Okay. So mostly you can see this happening in the most of the developed nation. Because I trained in Australia, I trained in United Kingdom. I was staying a few weeks in America, Latin America, and then also doing research in Holland for 3 months. So I broadly observing a lot of PhD students and master students. They're doing independent job. They're very less, and they very, very highly respect the supervisor compared to Asian. Asian never respect supervisor. And I know a lot of professors, students working very hard under them. They work as a team. Here, no. They don't care about supervisor. They don't care professor. You think professor is so easy? Professor is a high level, if you see in Malaysia, professor is very few. Dr. Mazlan, am I right, Dr. Mazlan? Are you agree with me?
Prof, very few, professor.
And they're only
very difficult to get.
Very difficult. Yes, you ask Dr. Mazlan, Dr. Ganesh also know, right? To be professor, not that easy. Not easy. So if you see like that, you have to respect, you have to work with them. Why you cannot work? See, I this year, Dr. Mazlan, with all the grazing and all these people, I got a lot of grant coming, I cannot hold already actually. Tonight I cannot sleep, I have to write with the Ugen. Ugen is waiting in this room. I'm going to write another 2 more proposal on the grant. Small grant, about 30,000, but it's giving impact. People inviting. So I have to think how to help our group. So our study, even Dr. Mazlan today, Dr. Alex from Inti University, they come up with the matching grant from Swinburne University, Australia, Malaysian, Swinburne University, and also and Sarawak. And we are going to matching grant. He asked me, UMK, one of the partners. I said, okay, I'm going for that. They're going to do hybrid teaching and learning. So I will put you guys in my team later on. So we come up with a matching grant. We're going to do the research. So things will come. But a lot of things will come. And then even the National Human Center on the HIDF, they already called me. They see people from outside respect. So why the student cannot do like that? Why the students so, put themselves far away? Cannot. You need to work. So that's why you see under me, one topic I started in United Kingdom when I was the master. Now the topic is growing, a lot of PhD students are going to create a lot of scholars before I leave this world, like what my supervisor did. He already created me. When I was studying under him, very tough. Always told me, I only got 5 minutes for you. That's all. But he, as a friend, he's a good friend. I learned a lot from him. I really, really admire the way he do things. He's a top publisher, 200 ISI Scopus journal. He keep on doing. But of course, when the time comes, people will leave. Okay. So why is qualitative? I feel that it's hard to quantify. How hard a scale? So people saying on that, but it's not that question. The question is how you framework your research question. Okay. So normally the question will come like why and how. Very clear. You go Professor Robert In from Scandinavia, one of the top professors in case study. He come up with one table. If your question what, how many is quantitative. If a question is a why, it's a why. Kenapa? In Malay, we call kenapa, why. So you have to so many reasons. No independent variable. No, cannot. You cannot scope the variable only independent. Cannot. You have to why. Open up. Why COVID? COVID bring a lot of things in HR. Wow, changing recruitment, selection, a lot of opening up for the company to think about future. That's what I'm doing. How the industry harmony, how the labor mental disorder and everything, how the happiness. Like today, tomorrow, 8 o'clock, I have the workshop on defining an industry harmony to bring back to the whole industry in Malaysia. So they invite me as a panel expert to give an input. This is from National Ministry of Human Resources invited me. That's why I'm here today in Kuala Lumpur. Tomorrow I'm going to that. And last week, 2 days ago, I was in the panel of minimum wage. We're thinking about to go and global wage trends in the world next with ILO and so on. So why people invite you? They see there is a value for you. That's why wherever university you're working, it doesn't matter. But the matter is how you bring yourself to the world, and you must expert on the right field. Don't simply do anything. So the young lecturers, the problem is they do so many things. Okay, method is method, doesn't matter. I know quantitative very well. Most of my PhD's examination process I did in even India or very many countries, even Australia, all quantitative. Very few qualitative, but I know both method. You must know, but you must expert in one method so that everybody will appreciate you. Okay. So this all I don't go through this one. I think you all will go. It's a paradigm. I already talked about positivist, non-positivist, ontology, and foundation. As a student of research, you must know all these paradigm. What is a quality research and strength? Okay, their weakness. Okay, what type of qualitative? A lot, ethnographic, case study, grounded theory. narrative, historical, and Dr. Ganesh historical, myself ethnographic and case study. Some people like Dr. Michael Jones is more on the grounded theory. Grounded theory is no theory, just go to the ground and come back and write up. And there are phenomenological language, and so like Dr. Frank Jason is more on the language, heritage, something like that. So this kind of type come up through your research problem. So I am more expert on case study. Okay, my expertise on case study, and of course qualitative and quantitative also I do, but more on that. Sampling, no, we don't know much on sampling. We don't care about number. We don't care about generalization of population. We generalize the theory. We are number. We see if data saturation. Let's say 10 respondents we took. Example, I got 10 managers, 10 employees. If the 10 employees say the same thing, I stop the data. I won't go. But in quantitative, different. You need to do testing to come up with the tools to determine the sampling. But in sampling here, we have purposive sampling. We purposely I choose the manager. Purposely I choose the company A, B, C because they have the best practices on this. Like example, the student I mentioned to you in Cyberjaya, she's doing on the ethical. So I will also go and look from three companies that are very good ethical, and they are doing very well on ethical and no corruption. You study about that, and you come up with why they are practice this, why and how. And that's what she's going to answer. And the three companies, they're going to do that. So sampling is actually not a big issue, but we need to get sampling also. Okay, the techniques are like this. Like YB Dato, I told you, he is a participant observation. He was in industry for 25 years. Then he can understand. So we call participant. You work and like people like me, direct observation. I go and sit on the meeting. I observe what people doing, what manager said, and all this. And then we do interview, structured and unstructured interview. So and also we do focus group discussion. So many things, very interesting actually. We are looking at the people, but very tough also, not very easy. So all these method that we're using in it. So I'm just going through a case study. So case study is also very interesting. Can be quantitative, can be qualitative, but I'm using more on qualitative. And my book, if you have time, you can buy my book and read. The whole is about qualitative case study, very in-depth, no numbers, nothing, no statistic, nothing, just story. And I wrote a PhD. And my examiners come from Denmark and one from INI. And also my supervisor, my external examiner from Philippines also passed away due to the cancer. So I think most academicians will get a cancer. So I'm not sure. Okay, coming back to data analysis, I'd like to share something. Maybe many of you don't know how to analyze the data, but data collection, when you finish data, immediately on the same day, you need to analyze the data. So you display the data, you reduce the data, and conclusion and driving. And this is how we do in qualitative. So you got a lot of data, you collect a lot of interviews, and then you have to reduce the data. So many data, and maybe pages per pages you interview, and you display data. You have to creative enough to display data. And then so some people using animals, okay, these are the software that are available, but you have to control. Like me, I use a computer by myself. Manually I do, but I use the coloring. So I put the different colors based on thematic. So I go back to my question. I drive from there some teams. From the teams, I do the sub-teams. And sub-teams, I see how the data come from different respondents, from managers, from employees, and also from observation. Also my document, I cross-check. And then I have to verify this. And then I'm the one doing everything in quality. But in quantitative, no. You use a PLS. You run the PLS system. Everything done by the computer. You just analyze. That's all. That's why a lot of people can finish faster on quantitative because the computer will do for them. But qualitative, you have to do by yourself. But it's interesting. If you know how to do that, you can do that, okay? So that's how interesting to do qualitative because you meet a lot of people. And recently we do the one research under, this is my student, Dr. Alex. He got second PhD. He already got a PhD from Holland. Now we're doing MBA. Thank God. I really congratulate him, Dr. Alexan. He is going to Viva next Monday. He's Viva, okay? I really appreciate, admire that his Viva already end. He went through very hard life. He was a bypass, a heart problem, everything, until give up. And I slow talk to him. I said, Doctor, don't worry, I'm here with you. I always motivate him. He was about 60 years old and the family worried about him. And I always motivate. He's a very humble person. He's a top OSHA practitioner consultant around the world. He worked in Holland, he worked in USA, he worked as a top consultant, but eventually he finished. That is a success story that I'm going to tell you. So that's how I engage with my students. Sometimes I'm the one going to meet them. You can ask many students here, even Dara, Nalini, all you ask them. I'm the one. Albert was here, Anthony was here. You tell them I'm in there, and I admire this kind of student. They do their own job, and Dr. Alex was using his own model that he was there, participant as a expert on the safety, and he found that in oil and gas accident still happen. Although oil and gas. So this is how he did the research. I'm not going through his research, but he's doing. And two of my students come from the top oil industry. One of them, Dr. Gillian, he worked in Petronas. Petronas is the top 10 oil and gas industry like Shell, like BP and so on in Malaysia. And he finished on time, is DBA. And now Dr. Alex, another one, Mr. Lim, is a vice deputy director for hospital, the biggest hospital in Terengganu. He also going to finish soon. And I got another student already completed. This year I got 3 students completed. Next year another few will completed. So those working very hard is no problem. Those never work, relax, and so on, I don't know how to, I can't help them. So this is how you do the qualitative. You go conceptual framework, yes. Then you use a model, case study, because I know DBA is a research, company problem solving. So you can see here, you got a research participant that you observe, you got the documents, you got some photos, observation, you went to field, and you also use your own explain then, you verify and discuss and come up the research. And I think his examiner is a top professors in Malaysia to verify his disease. And I believe you will pass through everything at the age of 60. You're going to get, and my student minister is already 70. So my youngest one is a 24 years old PhD student. So I'm working with so many different kind of students. By end of the day, I think everybody will be successful. Sorry, this is how they analyze. And this is our model. Me and Dr. Ariana come up with our own model, come from the case study between Malaysia and Indonesia. We compare the postal case study in Malaysia, Indonesia with his PhD and my PhD. We do advanced study and we won the best paper. And this is a very fundamental journal, although it's not in the Scopus ISI, but it's a very, very old journal in India. We won the best paper and published. And we got accreditation from the top professor from Harvard, from the Cambridge, from Oxford. They actually admire our idea because we are the first one. And this idea now doing some research by my student, like what Nalini is doing is actually come up with a new model to solve the problem in industry in Malaysia, because only 6% of the unionized in Malaysia, 93% non-unionized, we are solving their problems, come up with a new method, which already laid out by my professor, Dr. Chalian. He no more already passed away 2 years ago. I'm taking his legacy, I continue, and I will pass over to the young generation. I hope they will do something for the country. And a few lawyers already interested to use our model, and it's going to be a law later on. So these are the things how we analyze data based on the model. And then some tips for the Viva. Those people, I think, interesting on that. I already examined thesis more than, I think, 30 or 40 PhD thesis. I'm doing now. I got 5-6 PhD thesis going to read. What I get it, actually, I get, because I've been the chairman of the thesis, PhD and masters. I also be external examiner. I also be internal examiner. I also be supervisor from the here. I also supervisor PhD, MBA, and DBA. So I can talk about this, okay? So get ready with your PowerPoint. Do your pre-Viva at your early stage, at least 1 hour before Viva start. Listen to examiners, external, internal. Answer with a logical, intellectual. Throughout with your literature review, RQ, RO, methodological finding, discussion, conclusion, with recommendation, implication. This is how you, and of course, relax and pray to God, because that's most important, and many more. Okay, these are tips I said. So I think I end with here. This is my email, and you can always email me. You can take my email and communicate with me. So I really best of luck to all my beloved students in this room. I think you are the best of the best. And I believe that you will be someone in the future and continue legacy like me, because I'm coming to the end. So I was somebody, young scholar will take over. So I pass all my knowledge to the young one. We call in Malay kedekut. I never stingy to share the knowledge. I always pass anyone in around the world. So we are citizens of the world. Don't think you're Malaysian. Don't think you are India. Don't think Indonesia. Don't think Americans. We are citizens of the world. So we do for our nation and society around the world. Thank you. I pass over to Dr. Ganesan, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof, for your valuable session tonight. It's already 11 p.m. in Malaysia. I think India is 8:30. I think so. 8:30. Yeah, 8:30 p.m. in India. And what we can see here from your slot is regarding your research on qualitative method, and you already compare qualitative and quantitative method. And throughout your session just now, we can understand you have came along the way from first degree, second degree, and your PhD, more of qualitative, and how you do research. And the most important thing is your contribution to Malaysia and also to the world in the field of labor issues, labor laws, employment, wage problem, and also consultation on wage and so on. Okay, for participants, Professor Bala's PhD is actually on a qualitative method on employee participation. Maybe just now he was telling, maybe you all can buy the book. Maybe I can show this one in my beta. Hold on. This is the, sorry, this is the title. Wait. I just snapped in the handphone just now. It's not so clear, I think. Never mind. Okay, employee participation. Employee participation in Malaysia, theory and practices. Okay, for the participants, any questions regarding qualitative method? Those who are doing qualitative, those who are in the field of qualitative, and maybe not only qualitative, anything on research. Anything on research. Please forward your question to Prof. Bala. This is the opportunity for you all. For us.
Doctor, Nazanin Dara asking question, raise hand.
Yeah, yes.
Hi,
Yeah,
Prof.
Nazani, yes.
Prof, actually my question is that for, as you said, qualitative, we have to do research in more details and all that. So how long the research problem has to be? Like, do we have to mainly focus on the theoretical part or the practical part?
Okay, your question is actually the same to both method, qualitative or quantitative. It's the same. It's not any different. The only difference is what kind of question you're going to framework. Like your research problem, first thing you have to look at the gap in theory. What kind of gap in the theory and concept? Like let's say your study on ethical leadership. So you look at ethical leadership study in both quantitative and qualitative. You don't only look at qualitative, both. Okay, you glance through the literature around the world, and you found that there will be more study conducted in the other leadership skill. I mean, leadership style. Only the one ethical is very few, and maybe very few in small industry. Example. So that's what you found. Come to the practical issue, you have to find like why is corruption happen? Why? Although you can say although they got the transformational leadership, transactional leadership, entrepreneurial leadership, but corruption is happened. So that means you see there's a gap on ethical leadership. That's how you framework your question, and then you look at the things what's happening in the country that you're going to explore. Example, you look at the Malaysia. Maybe in Malaysia that the study is never been conducted or have been conducted, but in more on, let's say, quantitative studies, not in qualitative. And then you see that there will be gap. A lot of corruption happen in the all kind of industry, medium or large or whatever. So you found that there's something wrong. They have very good leadership, entrepreneur. They are very good entrepreneurial, but corruption happened. Or then you found that there'll be another. So that's how. So your research problem cannot be more than 3 pages. Cannot be dragging. No, don't write too much. Your research problem is very, very factual. Start from the theoretical gap and practical gap, and maybe policy gap. These 3 very important. If you can find this and easy, and then you support with document. How the document come? Survey the literature review. You look at America. Look at the you go for the fundamental literature review on leadership. From there you drive what kind of leadership, and then for why, and then why. So you zoom in to your research problem from the global to the specific. What do you mean specific? You look at the Malaysia. That's specific. But don't start from Malaysia immediately. No, there's no way you do that. You do the global, and then you go down like that. It's a pyramid, something like that. From that, Then you ask question, why? Why corruption still happen? Although this company is a top 10 company, they are very, why? Then you see maybe ethical is solution. And how? Then you ask, how do ethical leadership can overcome the corruption or integrity issue and all this? So you provide the answer. How to do that? Then you do the method. These two questions related to qualitative, and you justify to the people that I'm using qualitative because the two question is exploring why happened and how. The process. You cannot measure by testing. Cannot process. You have to do step 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. How you get this step? You go to the company, you interview people, and this company really practice highly ethical companies. There are some companies in Malaysia are ethical. You study about them, then you tell, and then after that you propose to the other industry to follow you. Hey, there are many industries can follow these 4 cases, and that's how this method go in. So then you need to have a theory to support. You cannot simply do your study, just go like that. You need to have a theory, maybe many theory, 5 theory, you select 2 theories. Then you to define the concept, and then you have some model, tentative model, maybe 2, 3 models. Then you just put the model there, don't testing. Go to the field, understand, and come back, and you modify or you develop. That's all, finished. Then you're officially done. So that's all. And then you recommend implication. Am I answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much, Prof.
Okay.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Prof, for your very detailed explanation on what is qualitative all about. Okay.
Yeah.
Any other question from the participant? Any other question?
Risha, don't serious. Risha smiling a bit. I say very serious.
Risha India is still young.
Student, Risha? Okay. Maybe we ask question. Anyone?
Yes, Dr. Tilaka from US.
Oh.
Yeah, I do have. I just want to let you know I may be a little bit distracted because I'm driving at the same time.
Wow.
So
okay,
thank you, Dr. Bala, for your very informative session. And I'm really impressed with your expertise and all that. So I have a very quick question. So I know you do a lot of qualitative study, but in my area, because of special education, we have to do quantitative study because we need to provide data to say, for example, any intervention that we give for children with disabilities, we want to make sure that it is successful. So if I carry out an intervention study, and let's say I collect data and everything, and then I find out that my intervention failed, and I have the results that show, well, if I use this intervention, it does not improve anything. Can I still publish? Can I still use this data to publish? Or should I just give up totally on this? Oh, it didn't work, you should not publish. Even if I do try to publish, will the publishers accept a failed intervention?
Oh, okay, doctor. Very interesting question. If you look at from my perspective, you should highlight the research limitation and the problems. It's not that research is not providing the answer, not ready. Research actually to give overview what's happening to that. So you still can publish, because you say your intervention failed. It doesn't matter. They're also part of the data that you're providing, but you go to the right journal. You cannot simply go to certain journal. They might be rejected, but you go to some journal that might be helpful to them understand. So you are bringing the foundation, the fundamental issue that you trying, say you're using this method is a fail. That's very important for the people that, especially for the other scholars to learn how you done this, how you do that. It's a process, So in the process, will sometimes we try and error. Like example, in my case, minimum wage, it doesn't appear for a long time. It's already there for many years. But why Malaysia come very late? So there is some intervention from the government. So in the past, so we intervene. So through intervention and through my study, you look at my study, that my PhD, my doctorate, all this. So he giving some impactful to that. So it's actually important. Both study important. I'm not saying important. Even quantitative and qualitative is very, very important. Quantitative is giving a big data to the country. Qualitative is support the data. How the people think, how the people perceive, the thing. So I believe that this both is very important, all right, for policymaker. So these are the things that I like to advise you. You can, but you go to the right journal, and the right journal will be discuss the issue that you've gone through. Maybe you can say that what are the difficulties you've gone through, on this research method and the finding, and finally end up like this. So you go to the right journal, and the right journal will be discuss the issue that you've gone through. Maybe you can say that what are the difficulties you've gone through on this research method and the finding, and finally end up like this. So everything is research. It's not right or wrong. It's a research. All right. So can I answer your question?
Yes, you did. Thank you so much. Because sometimes we find that, when your data does not provide good results, then most journals are like, oh, but it's not really establishing a point. It's not really adding to the literature. So that's what we find when, things don't work out the way it's expected. So that's why I asked this question based on your experience. I just wanted to know what has been happening in the field. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I can add one more question, Doctor. You see, qualitative, it doesn't give any solution, immediate solution. No, that's why we don't put a recommendation. We always put an implication. But the implication, like example, my study, I looking at the why people doesn't want to participate at the workplace, because the law actually hinders to participate. So today, whatever I discussed 10 years ago, now the policymaker come to say to change the law. They change the labor law. They change the labor law because they found that there's something that hinders to happen. But it take time. When I come out teleworking in year 2001, nobody accept my idea. I told them, working from home in 2001. I wrote an article. Nobody accept my idea because they say it's incredible to the working from home. Today, they're having problem. So you see, after 20 years, people looking at your paper, people refer back your paper. That's how happening to that. And the same thing also go to many policy in the country. They're looking back. So people like lawyers call me, can you help this? Can you help that? So because they found something gap to be filled. So that's why you see my research, I ask my student PhD, go to the related to the policy. And at the same time, you publish. Publish very important so that everybody knows what you're doing. So publication is the key because your peers will recognize. Peers from USA, peers from UK and Australia, they refer back to you. Otherwise, why you do research? For what reason? You have to do research for yourself, publish, and get a credit for you, and at the same time credit for the country and credit for the global perspective. So this is how we do research. No?
Okay,
Thank you, Doctor.
TD, in US, so at least we don't have to go to US. This is a mobile workshop. I was looking at the scenery while she was driving.
So
that's
nice,
the beauty of technology. We are sitting here in the room. She's driving and answering and asking questions. That is really interesting.
Yeah. This is my drive. I was listening to this at home.
You should show the scenery is there. US on the way to
so nice, very nice.
Direct from your United States live,
Yeah. This is what
I do with my parents. I always show them.
This is what technology all about.
Live from the US.
Live from US. This conference, it's connected all over the world.
We also have friends from Indonesia also.
Yeah.
You're familiar.
Yeah, Federal Express. Good. It's early in the morning, Right. Okay.
Yeah, morning for us.
Yeah. So what's the time now there?
It's 10:16.
Oh, all right. Okay. Okay. Any other question, participants? It's quite interesting here regarding qualitative, and the question by Dr. TJ from US regarding quantitative, and the answer by Prof. Bala, which is includes a qualitative method. Of course, both are important actually in the research. Okay, both are important. See how the researcher going to do, and of course, like yesterday's slot, literature review is very important to decide what we're going to do. Literature review.
Dr. Tilaga,
any other question?
Very good framework on the literature review.
Yeah. Any other question? Or anything to share with, not only question, anything to share with regarding research from the participant, because it's more of a sharing session. It's not like asking question, answering. We can share whatever ideas we have.
Dr. Ganesan, probably yes. I asked Dr. Mazlan. Dr. Mazlan, can you
Dr. Mazlan,
any alternative answer to Dr. Tilaga? Mazlan?
Yeah, Prof.
In the engineering perspective.
Yeah.
I think there are some journal that Dr. TJ can publish regarding her field. So
special education.
Special education, maybe multidisciplinary. Like before this, I have published in several journals under Index by Scopus. ARPN Journal for Basic Applied Science. That topic can be published there.
Okay.
Hmm.
Good.
Maybe
Under
can collaborate.
under a few Scopus Journal. Under a few Scopus Journal.
Yeah, I don't have a failed research, but we always have wondered about it. So what happens, because I'm planning to do more interventions, just wondering if my intervention doesn't work, what would I do? So just thinking about it. Yeah, thank you so much. I also have a general question. I was told that people, like people in Malaysia, if you want to publish, do you have to pay to publish or is it free?
Oh, okay. You see, I want to ask many people here. Actually, if you look at the Scopus ISI, already exists many years ago. So normally, it's a top journal. You don't need to pay, all right? But now the trend is, because Scopus and ISI also become business, all right? Sorry to say this, so they're charging. So it's not harm. We can pay or not pay. It's okay, doesn't matter. But now generally, most journal they charge, okay? But Scopus is Scopus, ISI is ISI. So that's why you can end up some journal, maybe you pay 10,000. Are people willing to pay, Dr. Ganesan? Willing to pay 10,000 ringgit. That's why they put like science people, 10 people. So 10 people come out 1,000 ringgit. They go, this is a Q1. I think Dr. Mazala knows more on that. I know some people. But generally speaking, most of the like US journal, I know the like HR journal from US, British Journal of Industrial Relations. I publish in the top journal. Only one, enough for me. The one they call Journal of, this is my dream to only Journal of Industrial Relations, JR for Australia. You publish that one, enough for you. You can cover the whole world to refer to you. So I'm very proud to go with that journal, but not easy. I have to work with someone from my colleague from Australia, So the language we write, so I join with them, I publish it. So I'm very, very, very happy, Finally, I can go to the journal. So some journal, no pay, nothing. It's a free, but it's a top journal. Because it's a top journal, because it referred by all over the world. People refer that journal. They know about the so sometimes you publish more, but sometimes you go to the one or two, is giving a lot of impact to that. So that satisfaction gives me a lot. I'm dream to go there, Finally, my dream achieved. So Dr. TJ, it's not, you see many American journal, top journal, no, they don't ask any money. Only now they become trend. I told you already, trend is become business. So no choice. That's why I worry. Okay, my worry is like this, Dr. TJ. People, academicians like young people like this, they only publish. They don't care about teaching and learning. The impact is now our graduate unemployed. Why? They're not serious on the teaching. The teaching don't give any impact for their promotion. Everybody want to be professor. Everybody want to be. So those they know. Those they naturally people become professor. Am I right, Dr. Jagani said? Professor Jomo, Professor Kukike, Professor Raja Rasya, all these professors, naturally we go. Like me also, I'm not purposely to do that, but through naturally you become professor and you profess. When you profess, you will be recognized by the people. Not only people in Malaysia, worldwide people recognize you. That's what's very, very important, to be professor by your expertise. Not by, sometimes you put, 16 journal I publish, I become professor. No. A lot of professors is become like unproductive professor. They name only professor, but nobody recognize them. They do all kind of research. It's not professor. Like Dr. Ganesh said, Dr. TJ, you are professor of special education. Your education, you must be referred education by the world, not only US, by Australia, by New Zealand, by Holland, and everywhere must recognize you. Even your own country must recognize you. And that own country means your policy maker, your ministry must recognize you. Your education in America must recognize you. Like me and Dr. Ganesh were recognized by Ministry of Higher Education and Ministry of Education. They recognize us. They are invited us to be a speaker and so on. So that's very important, to be professor. It's not by name professor. Professor means you profess in your field and you are recognized by the world. That's why my supervisor invite me to sit on the chair. It's invitation. Why you want to invite? Why he can invite you? He's a top professor because he believes on you. You can lead the world. So that's very important. That's why we're all citizens of the world. I feel like I'm academic, not from Malaysia. I'm not belong to Malaysia. I belong to the world. That's why I have a family everywhere in the world, because you are not working for just your country. You must go out.
Prof, can I add a little bit
Yeah,
about
Dr.
the...
Mazlan, we need your advice on this.
Regarding Dr. TJ question just now, they said the paid journal usually for the open access like MDPI, but usually for Elsevier free.
Elsevier,
But tough to publish.
Yes, yes.
That's why when I share the slide, better to go for the Elsevier
Yes.
that available inside there, right? Because the citation will increase. Because that journal, particular journal, are very preferred journal around the world
Right. Right.
For citation,
for
citation.
citation. Because they are under standard, right? Elsevier usually go for the standard, right? Then the researcher around the world usually go for standard to download the journal.
Yep. True.
Compared to
I-
MDPI, for example, compared to MDPI we need to pay RM 10,000. Then we can publish one Q1, Q2 journal. But under Elsevier, free. But difficult to publish.
Yes. True. Very difficult. That's why I say to you,
So
general industrial relations are very difficult. Not easy.
True, Prof. Very difficult, but very
So what
very
hap-
quality.
Yeah.
what happens is that I do have co-authors, and then they are reputable co-authors. They refuse. They say, we are not publishing in any paid journal because we are reputable researchers. We need to publish in free journals. So it's a top tier and all that. So that's why I actually sometimes in a dilemma, because when I submit my papers for publication and then they say, oh, you have open access, you want to pay so much. And of course, in the US, we have grants. So whenever you apply for grant, you have to include that you want to publish, and that's where you have to pay. So sometimes the grant money will pay for your publication. But again, like Dr. Bala said, it's a new trend, is paying for publication. So in the US, we are still hesitant whether we should pay or whether we should just go for the top tier journal and then publish, because if you want to make yourself reputable, you don't pay for your publication. I mean, that's how we are thinking at this place.
Yeah,
Agree, Doctor.
one more point I add. If you go for the top journal, you need to work with someone from other countries. So you need to be humble yourself and work closely with that. So you start from the research. That's why you must get the international grant and work. Like example, like Dr. Mazlan is a younger scholar. I respect him. Okay, I put him as my collaborator, even though my age different, but I bring him in my team so that I work. So because we know the niche area, how we can work together. So sometimes you must be humble yourself to do this. You don't put yourself in the silo. You work around the scholar, then you publish. So that's another trend. The multidisciplinary is very important, science and non-science, and then you make your citation higher, because citation is very important because your peers will understand your field. And that's why the trend is now go on the citation and score. But remember, don't forget your teaching and learning. That's most important for me, because when you start in the university or college, you need to teach your students with a high quality. But of course, your student will become with high quality if you publish in high quality. So this is a very important correlation between teaching, learning, and publication. So don't just do for yourself, but also doing for the others. So teaching, learning, don't be bypassed. It's very, very crucial.
TJ reached a destination, I think. Through all the way in the countryside.
Is it cold now? Weather? Winter?
Today very interesting. Yesterday was -3. Today is 18.
Wow.
And
Wow.
and on Friday it's going to snow.
Good.
Yeah, I miss that. I miss that when I was in Australia. The weather keep on changing, up and down.
Yeah, crazy. Yesterday was -3 and today 18, and I'm like, wow. Yesterday I was wearing sweater. Today I'm dressed very casual. So
This virtual workshop really very effective today.
Dr.
We have
Ganesan,
US,
Dr. Ganesan.
India, Malaysia.
Do you know why they can write a lot of papers? Do you know why? Because the weather. The weather
Yeah.
for season, they can be very hot. How you write the papers? We are too hot. They are very nice, They got for a 4 season. So they really sit on the street, on the garden. They can write the papers. That's why they are a lot of
very
papers.
true. Very true.
So, any other questions or sharing of ideas? If there is no any other question or sharing of ideas, I think we can end this session at the moment for this slot by Professor Bala. And after this, we have a short session for closing of this international virtual workshop on research, methodology, and writing skills. So, on behalf of the organizing committee, which this international workshop jointly organized by Lavender Literary Club India Cape Comorin Trust, India, and Malaysian Industrial Relations and Human Resource Association, MIRHA, Malaysia. So I would like to invite Professor Dr. Bala to give a few words to close this ceremony. This workshop for today, the last day, the final day. I hope all participants throughout these 4 days, since 20th of February until today, 23rd of February, has gained a lot of input, knowledge. Although, of course, we are all scholars, research scholars, academicians, and so on. But on time to time, we need to get a lot of information, new ideas, because information is there, and information will be there, and we have to look for information, knowledge, and then we have to expand our knowledge through research and so on. And one more thing, as what Dr. Mazlan said, publication is very important, documentation. Doing research is one thing. Writing is another aspect. And then publish. Publish or perish. This is the word I like by Prof. Bala. From our professor last time, Qasim Ahmad, right, Prof?
Yes.
Qasim Ahmad, University Malaysia Sabah.
Is he writing, Prof? Doctor? Is he writing?
No more, I think so.
No. Writing. Is he writing books? Last year he published another book. He contacted me recently.
All right.
Is he writing? Crazy.
Okay, Prof. I hand over to you for the closing.
All right. Okay, thank you, Dr. Ganesan, and also Risha as very best MC, and also Dr. Ganesan as moderator. Okay, first of all, I'd like to say good morning to friend in USA. Okay, maybe good night.
We already reached destination,
Yeah,
okay.
Our friends in India maybe a little bit, earlier, and we are a bit late. Never mind. Late is not the problem, because we are very patient. I hope some of you stay back in this room, don't go out. Okay, first I like to say congratulations to the organizer, jointly organized by what you call Lavender Literature Club. The president is Dr. Frank Jason. I think we must give a big clap to him. He's one of the young scholar, good friends, and I think he done a very good job from the day one until now. Very humble person, always hiding himself under the the cafe. He's the man behind this. And the next person is Dr. Regine Silvers, president of the Cape Comorin Trust, India. I'd like to say thank you to Dr. Regine. And of course, Dr. Ganesan Samewelu is, Dr. Ganesan actually the president for this conference, and also committee member. And whatever Lavender Club, and also Cape Comorin, and also Malaysian IR and HR, Dr. is the president, and he was assisted by all the committee members. And thank you, Dr. Ganesan, who introduced me to Dr. Frank. And that's how we started. I think last 2 years we are very busy on the online conference. We did a lot of conference. I think one of the busiest, I can see that NGO is actually it is three actually. And Malaysian IR and HR just joined them last year, and I was the president, and Dr. Ganesan was one of our deputy president also. And of course, we are going to promote this not only in Malaysia. Later, I already talked to Dr. Cristina from Brazil, and also Dr. From Marta, also from Colombia, and some Mexico. They will come and join us. They were sharing to the other part of the continent. And also I will bring for Ring from European, from Holland, also my good brother. And also I still communicate with them. And also maybe from Australia. So later part we bring some speakers. But I would like to thank also all the distinguished speakers from USA, Dr. Tilaga, and then Dr. Doreen, and then many more, which I think I cannot name, Dr. Mazlan, Dr. Jaya, some speakers which I respect very much from India, and they come here, they spend their time. We are not paid. Dr. Ganesan, am I right? We are not paid.
Yes.
We are voluntarily based. We come here to share the knowledge, we share our time. I think I cannot sleep last 2 days. I keep on working. Maybe next morning I have to finish my proposal. And I'm enjoying this because I see all the president in this room. They're very young. They're only about 35, and they work so hard. And then these three NGO also working with a few top university, and maybe in India, in Malaysia. I think there's some university want to collaborate in Malaysia also, and also India and Indonesia. I think our counterpart, don't forget them. And also moderators, all the best moderators that we have, they do a very good job. And also MC, okay, I think Risha always there. You are all smiling. Don't be stressful, Risha. You are going to take over our place later. We are going to retire soon. But of course, and I would like to special thanks to participants, especially participants who are very patient. They come from Malaysia. They come from Iran also. They also come from India. They also come from Indonesia, and some of them from USA. So you can see 4 continents we close together this online. So sometimes COVID-19 actually is giving a room for us to explore ourselves, and we are like brothers sisters. You know, we can see we only got 2 eyes, 2 nose, 1 nose only, and everything's same. That's why we categorize as citizen of the world. Right? So we are not belong to any continent, but we belong to everyone. And I know that there are young students here like Silva is my undergraduate student. She's looking at us, and Chandrakala is actually, she's from RTM. RTM is broadcaster in Tamil. So next time you see on TV, Chandra will be there. So you can see all them. So there's some of you, and especially from India, continent from North India and South India and the middle, and all these people coming all over the world to talk about research methodology. And I think the 3 NGO will have more collaboration later. They will organize more and more. Right? I heard Lavender and Mirhal also come up with the award, Doctor. They're going
yes.
They are planning to give an award. Dr. Frank just shared with me.
Lavender Literary Club Award.
Yeah,
and many categories. Many categories.
Mirhal also joining together. So
yes.
You guys will be selected. All of you selected to the award. They're going to be special panelists, and maybe Dr. Mazlan and Dr. TJ, and some of you, we will invite you to be like judge. And maybe we got a special ceremony, Lavender will get even the young
in March or April, I think Dr. Frank told me.
Oh, right.
March or April.
Okay, that's good. So
there are many. There are many categories actually, Prof.
Yes. I think Dr. Frank will come up with the brochure and everything. We'll send to all of you, and you can participate. And we need a reward. Actually, reward is very important. You work so hard, we have to reward you, and this reward is for you to grow for the next future. So that's why all these NGO, they are planning to do that. And once more, I'd like to thanks to participants and also all the moderators, speakers, and don't forget to the Dr. Frank, Dr. Regin, and of course Dr. Ganesan, who are, although I know Dr. Ganesan is quite busy at the workplace recently. I think I have some, mother not feeling well. We're very sorry. We pray for your mom, doctor. And finally, you come back. I worried that you won't come back. You come back.
No, I'll be there.
You see your face again with a smile face. That's why in the beginning I thought that Dr. Frank said you were coming. You're not joining us, but you're finally joining us. So Dr. Doreen, thanks a lot for all the support. You bring a lot of students for Indonesia. And thanks, I think, Doctor.
My pleasure, Professor.
Yeah. Dr. Doreen is my old friend. I think we met about 15 years ago in Jakarta through Dr. Ariana. We still communicate, and I hope all the best to all of us.